Hi, it's Moni, and welcome to Mind and Your Business. Hi, team. Welcome to Mind and Your Business. It's a fun day. It's a good day. I'm excited to be here. I've got Heidi, my producer slash handler slash person who tells me what to do and where to be. Here, I was 20 minutes late. Because
apparently I don't do it very well.
Yeah, she didn't tell me. She didn't directly tell me to be here on time, so that's why I didn't do it. But anyways, today's going to be a really fun conversation. I have some stuff I want to talk about around the NAR lawsuit, around just value, realtoring, things like that. But Heidi has a format, and she likes a format, so we're gonna let Heidi have her format.
So before we jump into the meat of the conversation, what are you seeing in your business? Are you seeing more buyers, more sellers? What are you seeing?
I'm seeing more buyers right now. So it's definite. So we're seeing Phoenix inventory. I don't know across the country. I only know my area, but inventory is actually growing a little bit. So it's seeming like buyers are out buying, but they're slowing down. All right. So, I don't know. My buyers are acting a little hesitant. They're kind of not, executing as well. So I think that's why the inventory is climbing. Plus people are putting their house on market. So that's all happening in the spring market here. But what am I seeing in my business? More of the same. I mean, if you're good at converting buyers, they're going to eventually convert. And if you can get your sellers to price their house where they need to price it, it'll sell.
Right. Love all that. Okay. So you're going to jump into NAR. I know you have a lot to say. I just wanted to kind of preface it that I'm shocked at what the president has said. I mean, it was so inaccurate. So it's very, very surprising.
I didn't hear what he said. What did he say?
He was saying how basically agents are going to learn not to charge 6% and that this is better for the consumer. It's like, what in the world? That has nothing to do with a lawsuit.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of that same sentiment of just goodbye. I think I keep seeing headlines like, say goodbye to the 6% real estate commissions. And it was like, well, it never was 6%. It was always negotiable. So, okay. Right.
And sometimes it was more than 6%.
Sometimes it was more. Mm-hmm. I know for me, I never charged my friends and family. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think I charged anyone 6% if I'm being honest. I always was 5 is fine or whatever. But I think that what we're going to see is just truly, there's going to be sellers who get it. Like right now, I think about this inventory environment we're in right now. Okay, so houses are sitting on the market. These sellers have a choice of either lower your price or do something to create an edge for yourself. And some sellers are smart enough to be like, hey, agent, kick a few extra bucks out there, see if that can bring me a buyer faster. It's all going to come out in the wash. It's just kind of so silly that people don't understand the basics of math. And then how marketing works and supply and demand. And, when the market's on fire and things cannot stay, inventory just flies off the shelf, that's always been the time in my experience where buyers are having to just go directly to listing agents, mainly because if they take time to go interview a buyer's agent, by the time they interview them, the house they want is gone anyways. So I think there's a lot of things that are just market driven too, that are going to be worked out here. But I'm hearing rumors about, potentially buyers being able to, VA buyers, FHA buyers, potentially being able to increase their amount they're allowed for closing costs or concessions to cover commissions. So I don't know if there's any truth to that, guys. It's not like I'm an insider, but I think things are going to work out in the wash. But that does bring me to what I wanted to talk about today. So, those of you that are real estate agents, I know not everyone watching or listening is, but if you are, you may have seen that NAR National Association of Realtors put out a list, 179 ways agents who are realtors are worth every penny of their compensation. So this is what this looks like. And so I did an exercise with my team today with this. I broke them into 2 groups and I said, okay, want you guys to circle or put a mark next to the items that you feel that a person who just has normal cognitive functioning might be able to do. So things on the list are place a lockbox on the property.
Oh my goodness.
Add client into your database. Measure interior room sizes. Make a copy of house plans. Have extra key made for lockbox and one for your file. So you get the idea. These are things on this list. Now, there are other things on the list, but go ahead.
You know what's scary to me is that there is a demographic of realtors that actually believe that they're going to zone in on that and, hey, this is the value I bring, which is shocking.
Correct. So the whole purpose, and listen, the other day I started thinking about this whole lawsuit because it's my livelihood, so I'm thinking about it and I'm thinking, what does this really mean? And what it really means to me, it boils down to, it's a referendum on our industry to say that the consumer, whether they're right or wrong, doesn't understand our value. They either don't understand it or they don't agree with it. It's one or the other. And so when I see that our biggest trade organization that represents us puts out this list, where the exercise I did with my team was make a mark next to things a trained monkey could do, and 90% of it was that list, it made it crystal clear to me, oh, this is why the public feels this way. It's like we don't articulate our value well. I feel like a lot of times, like, we make it look easy. A lot of times I think that clients don't realize everything that's happening behind the scenes to make something look seamless and that it just happened. And, I could have done that. And it's like, well, you have no idea what happened on the back end to make that result for you. But be that as it may, that's, I think, a problem with anyone who's like really highly skilled, right? Like I'll watch like the Olympics and I'm like, I could fucking do that. I can high jump. Set that thing up.
I think that with dancing all the time.
Yeah, like ice skating.
Yeah. But I do
Javon, come lift me up.
Let's salsa.
Yeah.
I do believe that when I get defensive towards realtors. So when I hear these things about people not valuing realtors, I get defensive. But that's because I hang out with good realtors.
Right.
So in your perspective, if there's 100 realtors, how many do you feel are earning their 3 to 6%?
5.
Yeah, right.
5 of them.
Yeah.
And that's another issue. So I think that, so we've got 2 problems. One, we have our trade organization like sucks at articulating our value. And in general seems like it sucks.
But don't they have to placate to the 95%? Isn't that how they're staying in business?
But that's the problem is why? Yes. And on top of that, the issue I really see is everyone and their fucking dog is a realtor. Mm-hmm. Why is it so easy to be a realtor? So I think back to my journey. It was like 7 years ago. I got licensed in a 9-day course. I took all the tests, passed them the first time. I was handling someone's first home sale by myself a month later. Now, thank God I have a professional background with some pretty, complicated stuff. So I knew enough to know when I was like out of my ability to understand. Right. But
that's you.
That's me.
That's you.
But also I had great resources I could go talk to. I had a great lender. I had a great title guy who just took me under his wing. Really helped me a lot, but I knew to ask. I knew enough to know, hey, I'm better ask about that because I don't really get that part. Like, I don't want to fuck this girl's life up or whatever. So I knew most agents that I encounter are like flim-flamming around here, man. Like, whatever, dude, my balls are out. Like, let's do it. Like, that's just how they are. And it's like, now we have this issue where we got people fucking up. The sellers are like, I can't believe I just paid this putz to do all this, right? I had to help them through this transaction. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then 179 times, I staple my papers. Refill the ink.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
It's just shocking.
Take a pen with me.
So in a perfect world, how do you make it where the consumer is in good hands? Because I do feel like the consumers have this justifiable opinion because they're dealing with the 95%.
I think raising the barrier to entry is really important. I think on a national level, if we're going to do this, I think that we have to, honestly, just sales training. Really at the end of the day, like, we are salespeople. That's what we are called. We are licensed salespeople. The number of agents who don't understand supply and demand, don't understand a basic marketing process, don't understand how psychology plays into getting a seller the best deal, or how psychology plays into getting a seller to give you something for your buyer. These are all things that are not at all part of our core competency. The thing that we are measured on from an NAR perspective is the code of ethics. Their commercials they put out are like, if you work with a realtor, they're not going to fuck you up. You know, like they're not going to burn your house down or do something weird to your daughter. Like that's their play, is it's a good person you're working with. To me, that's not valuable. It's the baseline of like, that should just be understood that we're not like stealing or doing fraudulent stuff. Very often we're, you know, on the up and up. But that is the entire play to the public, is like, hey, it's a good person that you can trust.
Which is just ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
First of all, it's not even true. So it's just ridiculous.
No, I mean, most realtors I know are like the biggest scam artists on the planet.
Right.
So yeah, it's about raising that bar. And I think really training us to what we are meant to do, which is we are meant to save the public money or make them more money. We're meant to protect them in this process by understanding the contract forward and backward, like the back of our hand, you know, should know it in your sleep. That really, to me, encompasses, you know, what does the public want? The public wants the most money or to save money in their transaction. And they want to make sure at the end of it, they're not getting sued or bought something that's all jacked. And now they're into this big issues with all these costs or whatever. I feel like that really should be the primary focus of what it takes to become a real estate agent, a realtor.
Yeah, I think it's shocking that the consumer will feel like, well, I can just sell my home myself, or I can buy a home by myself. That's simply not true. You really need a good professional to guide you, but that's the trick. It's finding the good professional. If you find, like, I'm confident with you, and I trust you with my family, that if you're saying, yep, this is a good house to buy, then it's a good house to buy.
Right.
Right. And that's what you need from somebody. But I feel like NAR has dumbed it down, because you're not supposed to steer and you're supposed to give 3 lenders.
It's very true.
It's so silly.
It's so true. So in a way, it's like all this bureaucracy. And I love that you put it, watered it down. Mm-hmm. Watering it down away from what is really valuable, which is that, I don't know, that like professional consultant, you know, like the way that I call my attorney and tell him, hey, this guy said this, or I got this mean letter and he says, throw it away, you know, okay, you know, throw it away. Like, I don't have to worry about it. Right. So it's that same feeling that I feel you would want if you're going to hire someone for your taxes or for your, to be your lawyer, to be your doctor, even your same thing, you know, hey, is this big lump on my chest something to worry about? Brush it off, dude, rub some dirt on it. Okay. You know, you feel good about it. Mm-hmm. So I am very concerned about the fact that NAR is so inept at this. It really is. It's so confusing to me, because you just gave an example. You said FSBO is for sale by owner. We have quantifiable data that shows that if you use a realtor, you net more money than if you sell on your own. This has been proven and measured. I mean, it's like black and white data. Just look, those who do it, those who don't, right? Comparable properties. How does it turn out for you, right? Why are there not commercials about that? Why is there commercials about like, hey, we're ethically good? Okay, thanks. I would hope so. But why is there not like thinking of selling your home without a realtor? That's going to on average, that costs people $20,000. Big mistake.
Right.
Why not?
Statistically, right? Yep. I'm with you. But I feel like there's a big demographic of realtors don't want to take that burden on. They want to sit behind, I've got the lockbox, I do this. They don't want to dig deep and really be the best that they can be.
Okay, they're about to get washed out. I mean, if not already. So the exercise I did with my team, I wish you were there, because I felt like this was like so smart. But I needed
like, somebody to see me do something smart.
I'm having a moment here. I'm actually doing some good. So I was having a discussion on value with my team, and, you know, one of my team members was saying like, well, I explained my value to this buyer that I met this weekend. Okay, tell us. And she's like, well, I let him know that instead of him calling listing agents individually, I could handle that, and I can just show him these properties, and it's going to be so much easier for him. And I'm just like, and what's the value? Because in his mind, him doing that is saving him money. The reason he's doing that is because he's like, oh, if I don't pay an agent, if the seller isn't going to pay an agent, then they're going to give me that money back, which is false, by the way. I have never, ever, ever encountered a seller who says you can you can give the commission to the buyer because I'm not having to pay it to an agent. Never. They've never said that. It's not happening. So she thought, though, oh, well, I'm making it easy for him. And it's like he doesn't care about that. He's clearly a guy who's oriented to saving money. That's why he's doing that. He knows he can hire a realtor. This guy's like 75 years old. He's been around the block. He knows. He thinks that your only value is opening the door. So for him, why should he give up the money he's going to save just when he could call me and have me send you, which is what I did, over there to unlock the door? Okay. So your power isn't your lockbox key. Your value isn't that. So we did an exercise that I actually want to share on this because I think it's an important thing for, honestly, any like industry that you're in. But if you want to define your value, so this is what I found. I found this and kind of tweaked it for my team. I'm going to like go through it. You let me know what you think of it.
Okay.
As long as it's positive. If you don't like it, you can keep that to yourself.
Not going to disagree.
We're very much about only one opinion matters here.
While you're pulling that up, I did want to say, though, that these exercises I love, and I feel like it makes me a better person, not just a better business person. It rolls over into a better relationship with my husband and my kids. And anytime you really identify things and you improve, it's not just business.
No, that's a good point. Yeah. And I think just like having like self-examination, right? Yeah. Just like taking a look at why am I doing what I'm doing? Or why do I think that? And then being like, oh, I don't want to think that anymore. And this plays really, I think, well into our, obviously the show is about mindset and business. And it's like getting out of a mindset of this like clerk. You're not a clerk. You're not standing at Albertsons scanning groceries. Like that's not what you are. Nothing wrong with being that. No. Be that. No. But if you're going to be that, expect to get paid what that is, right? But if you want to be viewed and elevated and respected and compensated as such, the saying goes, you are paid in direct relationship to the level of problem you're able to solve. Mm-hmm. So don't you for one have to understand what is the real problems your client needs solved? And how is it that you can demonstrate that you are the best person to best solve their problem? To me, that encompasses then your value.
And you have to be the best person.
Oh, you actually have to be it. Yeah. That's a detail we can get into. But okay, so this is the exercise that I did. And you guys can follow along with this. And I can, if anyone is interested, I know there's like 6 or 7 of you who listen to this. So of the 6 or 7 of you listening, if you want me to send you this PDF, I will, and you can do the exercise here. But first we talk about, okay, what is value? Well, by definition, it's the regard that something is held to deserve, the importance, the worth, or usefulness of something. So this is like a dictionary. That's where it's from. But if we think about our clients, how much benefit the client believes they will get from hiring you? Since our clients have a ton of options to choose from when hiring a realtor, including not hiring a realtor, it's smart to consider your value as compared to your competition or the alternatives. So it's not just about knowing your value, but it's about knowing what is being offered out there and what does the customer or client perceive that value is. Because all they're going to do is compare values. At the end of the day, this one gets me this one gets me this one gets me this. This is the one that gets me the most of the thing that I want. Okay?
Yep.
All right. So a client will choose a realtor based on their belief that they can solve their problem. For the most part, we know our clients want to sell their home and net the most, or they want to buy a home and save the most. Those are your 2 big, I want to either make the most money or I want to save the most money. Like there's other stuff, but those are our 2 biggies. Okay. All right. So here are the 5 questions that I feel if you dig deep and are able to answer and work on these, at the end of this, you should be able to come up with your value statement. Okay. So number 1, what are your features? These are the benefits that the client experiences with you. So these are your skills, the experience you provide to them, your knowledge, the quality of advice you give, whatever those things are. So we can call these FABs, okay? Features, advantages, benefits. So first part of this exercise, get a piece of paper out, write out a few of your FABs, your features, advantages, and benefits, okay? The next thing that you're going to do, what problems do each of your FABs solve for your clients? Another way to think about this is, if you think about your client, what are the problems they need solved? And then if you look on your list of your features, let's say I'm an expert in the Arizona real estate market. Let's just say that's one of my FABs. I'm an expert in the Arizona real estate market. Okay, well, what problem is that solving? Well, that means that when a client works with me, I can articulate to them with accuracy if a home is overpriced, underpriced, if this is a good deal or not, is this a common practice here or not? Because I'm an expert in the entire market, I am able to convey that information to them, and that directly solves a problem for them, which is they want to either make the most money with their sale or they want to save the most money when they buy. Okay. All right. Next thing you're going to say, in short sentences, describe how you, the product, so me, full of my little FABs, how do my FABs solve their problem? So you're going to link these two. So you have your list of, here are my features. Here's my if I was a little Android, here's what my programming is designed to do. And then here are the problems the client has or feels they have. And now all you're going to do is make a sentence that says, because I have this, it solves this problem. Okay, so you do that. And then the next thing is you're going to quantify that. So this is where it gets kind of interesting. So you're going to add value. You're going to assign a value to it. So we talked about it with NAR a second ago with the FSBO thing. Like, why don't you guys do commercial? It's like, if you use a realtor, an experienced realtor will cause you to net on average $20,000 more than if you sell on your own. That is a quantifiable benefit to the experience and knowledge of, or the marketing strategy or whatever the FAB is that is connected to. Don't be a FSBO. Now that's $20,000 more on average that you're going to net. So you can quantify with money, or you can even quantify with time. Somebody in my team said something like, people coming in from out of town, they have a very limited time to shop. They need to pick a house this weekend. Okay. Well, hiring me is going to help save you that time. Something it's going to take you 3 weeks to do is going to take me 1 day to do. Okay. That's quantifiable. Okay. So the next thing is now you're going to compare your value to your competitor's value. So you almost want to do this exercise again, but now plug in the latest flat fee listing company. Okay. What are their benefits that they're offering? What problems are they solving for the client? And then now you're going to line yours up, quantify it, then you're going to line up your value to theirs. This is an important step because just like you had said, that self-reflection gives you an opportunity to adjust. You look, you see, oh shit, they are offering a better value than me. Good, you need to know that. That's partially why they're getting your business. Fix it. Go back to your FABs and add more features. So that's where you do become the best. You said that you got to become that, right? So it's like, do you need to get more knowledge? Do you need to get better connected? Do you need to get plugged into some special program? What are the ways that you can increase your features so that it adds more value that then you can present to your client or your potential client? Okay. And then the last thing is now that you've done that, you're going to write your value statement. And then when you write your value statement, think of it as, like what I told my team was, think of it as now a framework around all of your marketing. So I had a team member this weekend, took initiative, super fucking proud of her, made flyers. Hi, I'm such and such. I'm your neighbor and a realtor. She passed them out. Okay. What is the value to me being your neighbor? Because to me, you being a realtor, so is there's 17 of them in this neighborhood, right? So, okay, why is this valuable to me? So now if she has this value statement, she can then make a framework around the messaging of, for her and her unique self, what do I offer that Susie, who's also a realtor down the street, doesn't? Now she can articulate. Now she can build around it. Now she can actually program around it. You know, for me, I would say one of my value statements, or one of the things that I put out into my sphere of influence and the people I work with, is building wealth. Okay, so now everything I put out has something about that in it, because I want people, when they think of that, to think of me. So that's that power and magic of like, find your few things and then let's just make messages around that, because you're not going to be everything to everyone. Give that up. There's going to be some people that want a certain type of thing, and that ain't ever going to be you. Cool. But find your people by getting clear on and being able to articulate what this is. So that's the exercise that we started as a team. And I wanted to throw it out to this, again, my 7 or 8 listeners.
More than that.
Okay, well, 9 or 10 to work on, because I just think that for us as an industry, we can't rely on NAR to articulate, but we're business owners. We should know this. It's like we should be able to rattle this off and clearly state, when you hire me, this is why you're hiring me. This is what you can expect from me.
It's interesting. Some realtors get into the business and they just think that they're just going to buy and sell houses for people, and they don't look at it like I'm building a business. And I think, like with you, when you recognized that one of your passions was building wealth with people, and that is consistent on the stories that you tell, and it changes people's lives, which then empowers it that much more.
Exactly.
But it could be anything. Like, there was somebody on your team that was talking about that there are some people going through difficult times, and they're having foreclosures on their home, and she was uncomfortable approaching it, which sitting back watching her, I thought it was fascinating, because there was nobody who's going to care more than she does. And right. So it's so interesting is that really is a great fit for her, yet she's not ready to embrace it.
Yeah.
And because if you're talking about somebody that's in a foreclosure situation, I would totally recommend her, because she is really great at that. So it's fascinating that there's a disconnect between what you're good at and then owning it.
Yeah. And I think for my team, what I notice is just a lot of times the disconnect is their ability to talk about it. Mm-hmm. It's like they don't have a lot of clarity. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then they don't know how to talk about it. And because they don't know how to talk about it, they feel nervous about it. Mm-hmm. So part of doing any of these, I'm such a big believer in writing things down. It's like, sit down, write it down, write down, like, how do you picture that going? What do you want it to feel like? What is the end result you're going for? Why does it work? Why doesn't it work? Just doing that helps, I think, in your mind, like gel it to where next thing you know, you can just kind of starts coming out of you and flowing from you. And then that's when it gets like, oh, I'm confident. Right. Now I can go, her issue, I know who you're talking about. Her issue is like, she just didn't know how to approach it. And it's like, well, first of all, of course you know how to approach it. But like, you don't believe it because you've never done it before and you've never practiced the articulation. And in your mind, in some people's mind, or I think in all of us, there's that voice that's telling you like, well, who am I to go up to somebody and say that, I can help them?
So many people don't recognize that your voice matters. Mm-hmm. You saying a kind word to somebody changes their whole day. And you think that, well, I'm not an authority. I can't say anything. Yeah, you can. Your voice matters.
Yeah. And there are people who listen, that lady's getting hit up by every single person. They're getting hit up by, most of the time, who's on calls, who's calling a lot. Usually it's newer agents who got a big call list they've got to complete in order to not get kicked off of a team. They're getting contacted by agents who maybe have never even done a deal before. So you think that you're not good enough to call? Please, like the experience that you offer, whatever, you get it. But point being is the articulation of that value is really, I think, the disconnect, because we've got our big organization here that's spouting out just gibberish nonsense, embarrassing. Like, okay, this does make me feel kind of embarrassed. Like, I can't believe what I pay every year to this place. So there's that. And then we get so caught up, I think, being transactional. And really this speaks to transactional. I mean, this is really these bullet points, these 179 ways, almost all of them are just a transaction step.
I'm with you. It's embarrassing.
It's super embarrassing, but being transactional every day and you're in that and you're not really thinking higher about your value and why you're doing, even the steps you're doing when you're marketing home, when you're doing the pictures, getting the video, when you're pricing it, when you're describing it, are you really thinking about how the way you're doing it is the execution rolling up to the bigger goal, which for your seller in this case is it going to get them more money? Is every step you're taking in this 179 ways, is it oriented to make them more money or save your buyer money or whatever their goal might be? We're not doing that critical thinking. So then when we're faced with AI, automation, you are kind of, well, shit. Or, if people start putting, like one of the new build, I think it's Lennar Homes, does like a thing where you scan a QR code and it'll unlock the door for you. Well, how soon is it going to be that? I mean, you're going to sell your house. You want to FSBO, you want to sell on your own. We'll come and install this thing. And the buyer has to scan it, but then they scan and it takes a copy of their driver's license or whatever. Now they can tour the home. Oops. Are you sure you want to be a glorified door opener?
That's what you're going to put your flag in the sand on?
Yeah.
I have access.
The super key, baby. Shit. So anyways.
But it makes me sad that some people think like that is the value that they bring. That makes me so sad. It's like you are going through life and you're not even recognizing what you're good at.
Well, for some of them, Heidi, it is the only value they bring.
Well, then real estate's not the thing for you. You do need to be a customer service person or a checkout person because you can thrive in that area. Find where you're going to thrive. Very true.
Because there is a direct relationship between the agents that think transactionally and who are broke. So it's like, you're not making money. So why are you doing this? But the thing to remember from a public perspective is like, how many times does the average person buy or sell a home in their whole lifetime? 2 or 3? Mm-hmm. It's not a lot. So it's like the one time they stumble upon the dum-dum, now it fucks all of us, right? Because now that's their impression of our entire industry. And then they look at the settlement sheet and see how much they just paid dum-dum. And now all of us are like, overpaid bastards.
Right.
So that was it. That's all I wanted to talk about today.
All right. Well, then let's finish up with what's going on in the Wilder family. Well, first of all, you had a beautiful garden party.
I did have a really great garden party. So I had a garden party. Thank you for coming.
I didn't know what it was, and I did commit to a plant.
Well, okay, so we're calling it a garden party, but it's actually called a plant party. And the concept around it it's like a Tupperware party, but with plants.
And it was great.
It was great. So my friend Sylvia, who I need to get her to buy a house if she's listening. You need to buy a home.
She was adorable. Oh, she totally needs to.
She started a nurse. She left corporate America, started this nursery just kind of out of a thing of passion. I've been seeing her go around to farmers markets for the past, 6 months. And I just love that so much. Like just seeing somebody be like, fuck it, I'm doing my own thing. And like,
it's so random.
I know. And
I'm going to do plants.
I'm plants. That's it. I'm leaving. And she was like in like the legal field. So it's even better. Like it's just so, but she was super brave. She started going and doing farmers markets and, she was her setup was cool. It's called, I'll do a plug for her, Sassy Plants with a Z period. If you want to follow her, Sassy Plants period. So she came and set her nursery up at my house and, you saw the plants everywhere. It was just amazing. They were
also healthy. And
I know they were like, I'm a plant.
There was all kinds of them. And it was great.
So the concept is I am passionate about I've got a group of people around me. My past clients are fucking phenomenal. I just have the best clients ever. And most of them are just exceptional, like in a certain way. And I was like, you know what? We all should be rich. And so that's just become my goal is like, no, we're going to be rich. We are going to use real estate to create wealth. You talked about net worth with me, and showed me like that spreadsheet that you did with your kids. And I thought it was so brilliant. And it got me thinking about even just a net worth conversation and how there really isn't a lot out there that doesn't feel like Charles Schwab-y. Like, the materials are kind of like white dude doing stuff with a calculator on the front. And you're just like, that's not me, and it's speaking in these languages that you never heard of. And so it felt inaccessible. So I wanted to create something accessible and something that felt like, you know, it was super, you know, oriented to women, because most of my clients are women. If you've, you know, the first to ever graduate from college, if you're, you know, whatever, just kind of that for regular ass people is the point. So the plant party was like the first time that we did like a get together, and I didn't even really talk about what I wanted to talk about, which is kind of weird. I think because my dress was blowing in the wind, I just felt super distracted. It was a really
great dress though.
It was a great dress, but it did kind of sidetrack me. But I created those booklets, and that's going to be something that I do, and I'm going to send those out. And I had a ton of great feedback. So many people that attended pulled me aside and were like, I want to get a rental. I want to do this. I want to blah, blah, blah. So it was like, well, this is great. I saw
you sitting down talking to some people.
Yeah. I was like sitting there doing full consultations, but that wasn't what it was about. It was about, let's get together. Let's have some wine. Let's have some food. Let's buy some plants. Let's talk about just growing. And I got a really, actually, let me read it to you just because I thought it was like so phenomenal. I got a message from a newer client. She sent it to me maybe a day or two after the party. So she said, so my mother would have told me what you had on Saturday was impossible. Women supporting women, successful women in their own right, supporting each other. I told my husband, seriously, I have always expected that was impossible. And I said, oh my God, you know, thank you so much. That means so much to me. That's exactly what I want to create. And she writes, you're welcome. Thank you for showing me it's possible. So it's just like, dude, this is what we're doing. Yep. This is the value that we provide. It's that. How can you articulate that experience?
So if somebody wanted to connect with you to be on the podcast or tell their story, or they want the sheet for the net worth, where can they contact you?
Best way to contact me is by email. So first name, Moni at MoniWilder.com. So you guys can always contact me there. I mean, can I put my phone number on here? Is someone going to do anything? No. I can't? Okay, she says I can't. So, though you could easily Google my name and my phone number will be immediately available. So, I don't know how secret it is. But yeah, just get in touch with me if you're interested in even seeing like the booklet that I made. It's got some typos in it, but I'm fixing it. But just we're in creation mode, and we're trying to get in line like
and we want people to be a part of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're talking about this podcast. Oh, I was talking about my life. Okay.
No, but that too. All of it.
For sure. So if you want to be on the podcast, would love to have you. There's a questionnaire we have around like, okay, who are you? What do you do? How, like what lessons and mindset or hacks or whatever can you convey to our audience, right? Or even today. Today's not necessarily like anything except getting your mind around a value conversation. So if you have something like that you want to share, then come share it.
Okay. And then we have about 2 minutes. What are I'm addicted to your children. What are Honey and Bear up to?
Being bad. They don't get along.
Oh, well
they don't know. It's getting bad. It's like, God, at my house this morning, I was like, hey man, I'm leaving. I'm never coming back here.
I loved that Honey has a little trampoline in her room because she wakes up so early.
We have that trampoline. We've got that gymnastics bar that she holds on. She jumps and pulls herself. She's a terror, man. She's
awesome.
Yeah. Like she runs away. She's starting to run like down the street. She always escapes when she's just wearing a diaper that's full of pee. Looks like I never change her. Her little feet are black from the asphalt because she won't wear shoes.
I'm sure the neighbors hold her in the highest regard.
Yeah, she's just feral. They're like, yeah, I won't be hiring you. I'm actually going to call CPS.
They're the best, the kids.
They're all right. They're okay. They're cute. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for having me on. I always have a good time with you.
Thanks for listening. Guys. Peace out.
These my dollars make it hurt.